days a week are required. We're all blessed to be in a business to where we're allowed to have the opportunity to help people. You know, in a right way and in a responsible way. That's good for the community, it's good for individuals as well. But to be able to have a position and a job where you're able to, you know, do things and be a part of things that are impactful and that are changing lives, you know, that's good for the individuals that we're working with, it's good for our community, and it's tremendously important, you know, with all of our folks. Because when we get this right, you know, it's a situation where everybody benefits. We appreciate all the work that all of the different parts of the department do, because it's a big part, it's an important part of our system.
We have a real good system in place, and you know, I've seen it move away from the concept of you do the crime, you're gonna do the time. Whereas now we want to find out what happened in this person's life, what non-normative event occurred that brought them to where they are today.
So after we do the interview, we just write like a report on them, and that's when we determine if they should be on like a high-risk caseload or a low-risk caseload, and then like what programs they should be in. Some clients are very open to talk, other clients are reserved. Yeah. But I've heard the clients told me that when they meet me, they feel comfortable. It's kind of like a therapy session for them.
I really don't have like the credentials to be like, you know, CSO or assistant of a CSO. So I just wanted to start small. And so when I looked online, I did see that they have something for like the car representative. I'm like, I love to talk, so I think that would be exactly where I need to be. Basically, we're the first people they hear from or see before they actually get to meet their CSO. You just feel them out and you try to make them as comfortable, let them know that, you know, your mistake, it did happen, but we're just trying to move forward here, so I love it, I really do.
Harris County, we're on the forefront of a lot of stuff. Our staff are very innovative, they're progressive, they're helping clients, and we know that training's there to help support them. So the biggest thing that we love about training is we personally get to make great relationships with a lot of the staff. You know, they all start out in training. At one point in their career, they're here at least a week. And so we love to have that relationship with all our staff.
Everyone's super helpful and everyone is open to helping and giving you solutions, even some you don't think about. I've always wanted to help people, which is why I chose criminal justice. And I felt like this was a good stepping stone.
More than being a CSO, you have to be like a big brother, a counselor, provide resources, and more of a teaching experience. One of my favorite things is, you know, getting somebody early terminated, seeing someone get a job. You know, a lot of people, they have rocky relationships with their families or their parents, seeing them come back in and say, I made amends with my dad, my mom. That's my favorite part about this job.
So I decided to pursue a degree in criminal justice. I'm from South Texas, so it's really close by the border. So just knowing a lot about crime, things like that, just trying to help the community and overall the state just be a better place, safer for everyone. I know a lot of the times with like the BIP program that we do offer, especially like me being like Latino, Hispanic, the BIP is like a better intervention program. And I know it's very like a culture barrier, like the machismo in the household. So when they do attend the class, they do come back, and I always like to ask them like, what did you learn? Have you used it with your family? So they do get to share a little bit more how like their perspective does change after they take the class.
I moved to Texas at the beginning of this year from West Virginia. Looking around Texas and everything, Houston seemed like a good fit because of the progressiveness of it. But rather than, you know, hey, you tested positive for weed, you're going to jail, it's, hey, you know, you tested positive for this, or, you know, whatever happened. And we have a discussion about it. We actually try and figure it out, actually establishing what the issue is. And once we're able to, you know, figure out what that issue is, we can target that rather than just the response to it.
My grandparents are pastors, so I've always been around people, and we've always been more of a, you know, we're helping always people out. So this is kind of, it's not new to me. Right. It's always been, we've always been for the people, and we work for the people. That's what we do. It can be hard because sometimes they're just very, they don't want to kind of listen. Right. I kind of just try to break it down for them and just let them know, hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be hard in the beginning, but you know, I'm just going to break it down for you. We're going to do one step at a time, and by the time you know it, you'll be good.
I work the felony caseload, so I get through real high-risk clients, and I get aftercare clients, sober court graduates, and drug court graduates. Actually, they are willing to change. Okay. After 3, they are more open to it because they understand I keep making the same mistake, I need to correct it. A lot of their problems are within inside. It's family issues. It could be something traumatic that happened just that particular day. So we take it one step at a time. We work together to graduate into progress. It's not gonna happen overnight, but it does happen often.
I was doing a reassessment on an individual, and when we came up to the substance abuse, it was actually difficult for her to talk about. And we were able to get into it, and she admitted that she was actively using a drug, heroin. I was able to get her scheduled for a clinical CAS assessment to see maybe if she needed like sober court or a different caseload and everything, and they actually recommended residential. She wanted it very badly. She wanted to get clean, and she took that step. She was able to trust me because she said that I was the only officer that she felt that she could actually say something to. And she went into treatment and everything, and that day that she was taken in, she said, because I told her that I was proud of her for making that step and making that choice to go in, because not many people can. And she said, I haven't heard those words in a very long time.
I actually have a client who had some mental health issues. It was a major crisis. He's called me crying, explaining what is going on. I found out that he's been lost for about a week, and he contacted me saying, I really need the help, and I was able to give him the help he needed, and he actually took those steps. And right now we are working on trying to go to the mental health to get evaluation to see if further recovery is needed.
My most successful story, I believe, is a client that I had on for prostitution with the 3rd conviction. And she quit school in the 3rd grade because she said that she started prostituting and it made her feel good. People would, give her compliments. So she never went back to school. And whenever she came to me, she had to do a Thinking for a Change program. She was very scared because she had no background, no high school education. She was afraid to speak, but we worked with her. She would come in early, we would go over her assignments, and I would help her. Not only did she participate actively in the Thinking for a Change program, she also got her GED. I helped her get her GED, and at the age of 22, she got her first job.
My clients teach me a lot. Some days I really do learn from them a lot, My cup might be empty one day and they come in and they fill it for me. I do have a client now that she's homeless, and she makes it a point to always come in on time. She has, literally her life is in a backpack. She comes on time, always with a good attitude, always with a smile on her face, never, has any complaints. So for me, that's a life lesson.
You wouldn't believe some of the smallest things. People are so appreciative, just like, for instance, giving them a $2.50 bus pass to get back to the house. It's like they're so thankful for just really small things, and just being able to sometimes just listen to what they have to say. I have a client that did an apprenticeship with SIR's job. It's a paid apprenticeship. And what happens is that we give them a referral, they apply for it. He's doing an apprenticeship, I believe it's some type of like HVAC nice. Type of stuff. So yeah, he's doing really well.
I have a specific client that when for the first about 6 months, that client was testing positive for a lot of drugs, cocaine, meth, and amp, and marijuana. And for the past 2 months, the client's only been testing positive for marijuana. Okay. So that's small. It's improvement.
Right.
So I would count that as a success story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And does that client feel good about it?
Yes. Yeah, client is very happy. I mean, we're still working on it.
The transfer unit actually has a lot of entities to it. We're not only responsible for out-of-state, out-of-county transfers and coming into the state and into the county transfers. We also have DNA testing, fingerprinting. The fugitive unit, like I mentioned, also is a part of the transfer unit. So it kind of has a little bit of everything. We deal with ELM and GPS as well. So there's a little part of a lot of things going into to the unit itself. So there's never a dull moment. Something's different every day.
I'm a self-proclaimed county kid. My whole family worked for the county, pretty much. My dad retired from the sheriff's office. A lot of my family retired from the sheriff's office. I didn't want to be a police officer, so I was a flight attendant before this, and I happened to apply. And I was like, maybe it's that time for me to, you know,
settle down.
Yeah, stop moving around so much. Totally different from anything I've ever done before, but honestly, probably one of the favorite, like probably one of my most favorite positions I've ever held.
Right now I'm assigned to Felony District Court 178, the Honorable Kelly Johnson, and I've been in that court for 15 years. So it was a female client that we had in our courtroom, and she was struggling with a very strong addiction, and she had that addiction for many, many years. So we worked with her, and she was kicking and screaming as we put her in rehab in residential. So we see them in court and sign them up and do our paperwork and send them, and so that the rest of the team, the rest of the department takes care of actually working with them. Long story short, so this lady came to my courtroom about 5 years later. After post probation, she was already out probation. I mean, like so unexpected. And she brought in her, at the time, it was like an 8-year-old little girl with her. Wow. And so she wanted me to meet her little baby girl, 8-year-old little daughter. And in introducing me to her, she said, I want you to meet the man who helped me save my life. And to me, that was very touching because I actually got to visualize, the impact, the life-changing, things that we do, and not only that we do for the clients, but that we do for the loved ones, that we do for their family, that we do for their kids. Could be a neighbor, but in this case, it was her daughter, 8-year-old. And so for her to do that, I felt the sincerity, I felt touched, I felt proud, and that's just one of the reasons why I love what I do, because I know that we make a difference. I know that we change lives, and I've seen it, and so I know the feeling of changing lives. So.
It's a really exciting time. We've added new programming, we've added HCC classes, we have the University of Houston providing some ancillary courses for students, and this is workforce development. So these students are participating in classes and they're getting certificates that make them more employable. For example, clients get an OSHA certificate, which makes them employable at the ship channel, for example. And for our felony offenders, it's really hard for them to get jobs.
I learned a lot of stuff about sales, how to approach myself to a customer and sell whatever I'm selling, and a lot of role plays and stuff like that.
It's a respect thing here. We are on a first name basis with some clients, but ma'am and sir, we make sure that we focus on all those basic principles, those evidence-based principles is what we focus on here across the board.
I believe that the staff that work with the clients that we service are built for this job. They are provided with the skill sets that they're needed to assist the clients in an effective manner. They are trained to properly assist them. So you may say it's a tough job, and to some people it is tough, but I think when you have a passion to help people, you equip yourself as needed.
Very important to all of us on my team, myself and my team, to be very responsive when somebody needs something. We're here 24/7 because we have other applications that feed into our client management system, CSS, like JWeb, and there's a lot of times things go down, things break. We have to make sure that those are, up and running.
You laugh at some of the things that we ask you to come, hey, what's wrong with my computer? And then, well, you need to plug it in.
How
do you deal with some of our stupid questions?
There's no stupid questions, like not everybody knows IT. That's the reason why I'm in this position too, right? Because I studied this. I'm not expecting the person to know everything, but that's what we're here for.
So I think specialty courts work not only because they are specific to the offenses of the clients, but it's also the interventions that we utilize. It's one thing to tell a person that they've done something wrong, but to then turn around and provide a way out, a tool to speak to help them change their way of thinking. That is what we are all about in specialty courts. Yeah. Graduations are those times for you to actually see the change, where you're able to see what a client came from, the work that they've done, and where they have progressed to. So they can be emotional. I know for me, I enjoy going to graduations because of that piece of it. It is always good to see someone who has had that aha moment.
Right. It started back in 2007, deployed to Iraq. As soon as I got there, one of the guys in my squad killed himself. I ended up getting blown up in Iraq and got a traumatic brain injury. And I PCS'd over to Fort Hood. And as soon as I got to Fort Hood, Major Nidal Hassan, the guy that shot up Fort Hood, that was my division psychiatrist.
The post became a combat zone.
People started screaming.
I knew I was messed up before that, and I knew I needed to talk to somebody, but my division psychiatrist just shot 43 of my coworkers. Yeah. So I kind of tried to transition into the civilian world. Got a roommate because I needed the money, and then he died, and that was really my snapping point.
It was like when we was in Iraq in 2003, I lost a good friend and it was on his birthday.
Due to my military experience, came home a little from war, a little traumatic, and thought that substance use was the answer.
So I was driving back to Houston. Okay, I gotta take my meds. So I pulled over and took double dose. I had some beer in the truck, and I was at Bellway 8 and 59, and that's the last thing I remember. I ended up rear-ending a lady going 70 miles an hour. She was at a dead stop on 45, and I left the scene.
Our interaction with the VA from the time we leave the military is sometimes not all that positive. So when we're confronted with a place like this, it takes us a while to get turned on to the fact that the people are actually here to help us.
This is a life-changing, life-saving process here.
It has made me, to be honest with myself, and face my, per se, so-called demons, and just, own up to it. There's help out there. And Veterans Court, I think a lot of people don't know about it.
I was like, I'll try the Veterans Court program and see how it is. I'm glad I made that choice. It keeps my head above my shoulders and not in my chest.
There came a point where I realized that my PO actually cared, and that meant the world to me. He believed in me before I could believe in myself. I'm trying not to tear up right now, actually.
And they treat you like a human being here. They treat you like a veteran.
From where I was to where I'm at right now, it's a complete 180, night and day.
Say with all certainty, they legitimately care about us, and they want us to succeed. So the best thing, really, is to listen, to learn, to compromise, and really be honest. Because when you're working with this court, they're not looking to put you back in the cage.
I didn't realize how bad things were. Everybody else saw it, I didn't. But they were willing to deal with me until I could stand on my own 2 feet, and I needed that.
Well, I was very annoying, frustrated. I can give you some words, man. I stay angry all the time. Well, I smile at everybody now and ask them how they doing. And have a wonderful day.
Well, you have a wonderful day, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Our program only works because the people who work with our people who are in community supervision, they do such great work. Not only do you change the lives of those individuals, but you're changing the lives of the family members that rely upon them. We would not put them in this program unless we believed in them, and we can't think of any better hands for them to be in through that journey except through the folks with our probation department. Thank every single one of you for your hard work, dedication, in helping keep our community safe, and more importantly, helping those individuals recover in their lives and to make better lives for themselves and our communities. Thank you so much.
You know, there's honorable professions. You have teachers, you know, the lawman, but what y'all do is a very honorable. You don't do it for the money, you do it for the love of the people. And so that's what it bothers me what I see in the news, because you know I've seen my judge having to sit in the court with a man who murdered somebody or something like that, and that's what he's in. And I feel ashamed that he had to waste his time on my nonsense. But I thank God that he did, because this program that y'all are issuing, it works if you work it.
I would say keep doing what you're doing. You're changing people's lives. My life has changed 100%. And just don't stop, because there may be some people that want to stay stuck in the system, but there are people like me that I want to get out, and I'm just so grateful that I did get caught. It's so weird. I'm grateful that I got in trouble.
You know, when you come in here, you don't really know what's going on. You hear all these stories when you know about probation. People have been, you know, sent back from it. It's been supposed to keep you in the system, is what a lot of people say.
Right.
But my experience might have been a little more different, just because I was more open-minded when I came into it. I mean, a nasty attitude is always going to be, you know, a first when you don't know what's going on. So when it comes down to the officers, props to them, because it definitely takes a lot of patience to work with multiple people. You know, one person's hard enough, so having multiple people come in, day out, that must be very difficult.
Miss Rushing was amazing. She held me accountable. So on my wedding night, she had set for my next probation visit the day after my wedding, okay? So luckily we got married in Galveston, but on my wedding night, my wife and I sat down and did something that Miss Rushing had suggested I do, and we set some goals. And we set some goals, some long-term and some short-term goals, and I went the next day sober, no champagne or anything of that nature, and I was happy to go report and share my goals with her. And I want to say here today that I accomplished all of those goals, all of them. And like I was shortchanging myself on those goals. So it helped me to see the potential for my future and how much I can accomplish, even not under their supervision. But man, I'm grateful for the help. They're making a change, and man,
keep it going, right?
Keep it going.